Back when Mitsubishi was building cars for driving enthusiasts, the Eclipse was one of its most desirable models, alongside the legendary Lancer Evo. The Eclipse is no more, but its name survives in this sporty flavored SUV, the Eclipse Cross. Blasphemy? I'm as curious as you are to find out. The Eclipse Cross doesn't handle like the Eclipse used to, but it corners nicely with minimum body roll. You can power your way through corners with complete confidence, as the suspension will take the punishment. It's certainly one of the best handling SUVs out there, but is let down a bit by the electric power steering, which feels artificial and lacks progressiveness. The cabin is a welcoming place. Build quality is solid, and the dashboard looks cool, with the central console mimicking the front grille's dynamic shield design. I like this soft plastic and the fabric upholstery, but the rest of the materials not so much. These plastics look and feel cheap for a car that costs more than 30,000 euros. As for storage spaces, the Eclipse Cross offers spacious door bins both in the front and in the back, 2 cup holders on the center tunnel, and a compartment inside the armrests. Despite the sloping roofline, there's a good amount of space in the back for a 6-footer like me. 3 adults can travel comfortably here, with plenty of room for their elbows, knees and legs. That's also due to the rather small transmission tunnel. Despite the panoramic sunroof, I have just enough headroom, but taller passengers won't be so lucky. The sliding and reclining bench seat is also split folding, helping you find the right balance between passenger space and cargo volume. By the way, the boot can swallow 485 liters of stuff, and if you fold down these seats, boot capacity increases to 1,159 liters. The smartphone link display audio infotainment system can be operated via a 7-inch touchscreen, a touchpad on the center console, steering wheel controls or voice commands. It may have dated graphics, not to mention the archaic head-up display, but the system's usability and connectivity are good. The interface is compatible with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which explains the lack of a pre-installed navigation system on our test vehicle. The engine in this car is a 1.5-liter turbocharged gasoline unit that makes 163 horsepower and 250 Nm of torque. Considering the curb weight of just under 1.7 tons, it's clear you won't get sports car thrills in this. However, the engine's low-end torque and quick revving nature make it surprisingly nippy. Put your foot down and the Eclipse Cross picks up speed quickly. It certainly feels quicker than the quoted 0 to 100 km/h time of 9.8 seconds. However, you won't be the star of the Autobahn in this, because top speed is only 200 km/h. The engine is linked to a CVT, hence the constant annoying whine you hear as you accelerate more energetically. It simulates 8 gears, and you can even shuffle through them using these paddle shifters. This manual mode is pretty good for a CVT, but it doesn't compare to a dual clutch automatic, which I would have any day of the week over this transmission. As for fuel economy, Mitsubishi claims this car averages 7 liters per 100 kilometers. During my time with the car though, the lowest figure I've seen displayed on the trip computer was 8.9 liters per 100 kilometers. So what about going off-road? Well, you can do that occasionally. After all, this is an SUV with a decent ground clearance and an all-wheel drive system. Besides the default auto mode, the 4x4 system offers snow and gravel settings. Just don't mistake this sporty SUV for a body-on-frame off-roader like the Pajero. The Eclipse Cross is a comfortable cruiser most of the time. The high-set driving position is spot on, the suspension is quiet and cushy on decent roads, and the noise levels are generally kept in check. However, when you travel at speeds exceeding 100 km/h, wind noise becomes a bit of a problem, with plenty of turbulence produced by these huge side mirrors. Also, when road quality worsens, the suspension becomes a bit crashy, but it's nothing unbearable. As for the CVT, for all its whining, it's a comfortable transmission to use, especially around town. Achieving a fine balance between sharp handling characteristics and a comfortable ride is no easy feat, but I think Mitsubishi has pulled that off with the Eclipse Cross, and that's a big plus for this car. The Eclipse Cross is one of the few non-premium coupe SUVs available, and one of the few that doesn't sacrifice practicality for styling. That's not to say it's an ugly car, quite the contrary. I think this is one of the best looking SUVs on sale right now. So, what's not to like? Well, the interior could be improved, and this thing would be so much better to drive with a dual clutch transmission instead of the CVT. The pricing might be a hard pill to swallow for some, seeing as this car has a list price of about 34,000 euros. But that's only until you remember it's hard to find a direct competitor for it. Compare it to a premium model and this thing becomes a bargain, actually.